thank you to everyone for taking time from your busy schedules to join us today. We certainly appreciate it. So here's a little snapshot of the agenda of some of the things we hope to discuss with you today. So we're going to talk a little bit about selecting your scanner, kind of what you look for in scanners, some advances and changes in the current technology of scanners, and then also kind of walking that fine line between using an MFP versus a dedicated scanner, how they work together and kind of the things you look for. We're also going to talk a little bit about some of the service options that are available to you on your scanners. And then we're also going to talk about the trade-in programs that we have, a way to really maximize the last little bit of value from your existing and older technologies that you have. And then we're going to look a little bit beyond scanning at capture and some great software solutions that we have for you as well. So a brief little snapshot of Fujitsu as a corporation. You can see here a lot of employees, huge annual revenue. We're actually the fourth largest IT company in the world. Now, domestically in the U.S., we have about 12 different divisions of Fujitsu, all IT-related products. I'm with the Imaging Products Group. We're headquartered in Sunnyvale, California, domestically here. And really for the last 20 years or so, we've been manufacturing scanners for the U.S. market and have really dominated the market for the last 15 or so, where we enjoy today about a 72% market share in units shipped into the U.S. So very impressive there. There's a lot of reasons for it. We're going to touch on a couple in a few slides in a second. But one of the ones that always kind of makes me chuckle a little bit when I tell people is we design and we manufacture our own scanners. And most people, when they hear that, say, well, geez, isn't that what a manufacturer is supposed to do? You know, doesn't everyone do that? But in fact, a lot of our competitors farm out the assembly and use some third-party technology maybe to make it a little less expensive, to kind of come in to market for a little less cost. That's their strategy. We take a different approach. Tightly control design and manufacturing, and then that way we're consistently developing a top-quality scanner that's really become known over the last 15 years for our quality, our reliability, and our ease of use. A couple of reasons why we enjoy that market share that we do. Part of that is the wide selection. We have everything from a little tiny scanner that could sit in the palm of your hand up to high-volume production scanners doing 140 pages a minute or up to 100,000 scans a day. We're also always looking for ways to improve the technology. So we were the first ones to come up with the hard card scanning, putting in BOSS for driver's licenses through the scanner. We also have taken what was once really a back office, loud and hot device out to the front office where it's quiet, small footprint, and then we really pride ourselves in our scanners and the software in the box really being easy to learn and very intuitive. Now, another reason that we enjoy great success is we have an entire business development team that goes out that augments really what we're doing on the sales side of the house, but they go out and meet with the big software partners and make sure that as there's new versions of software that comes out, as there's new scanners that come out, we make sure that it's tested and it's certified. So, of course, we work very closely with ImageSource with their iLinks product that they have. So as there's new versions, again, new scanners come out, we're all walking in step together. So the other couple things you'll see that we're going to touch on a little bit more, image quality, what's in the box, and then what we're trying to do from a paper handling standpoint as well. So when we really talk about the essentials of scanning, there's really three things that I look for that I consider to be absolutely critical to the success of a scanner. The first is the image quality. And I know that probably is an assumption that most people make. Well, sure, you want to have good image quality. But we've done some things with our own product that we call paper stream image processing. And I'm going to have a slide specifically on this in a moment, so I won't go into too much detail. But you'll see here the old image was kind of the generic Twain driver that shipped with the scanner. Very basic features. We've now basically made a Twain driver on steroids is how we like to call it. Very feature rich, still very simple to use and intuitive, but it really gives you all the great image processing cleanup that you need to get those good images. So the first thing is, again, top-notch image quality. The second thing that's extremely important with any scanner is to be sure that we're not damaging your originals in any way. So this slide is talking a little bit about the rollers and the sensors that we have within the paper path on this particular scanner. And basically what's happening here is as that first page is picked, the front and leading edge of that document, we know when it's picked, so we know where it should be at certain intervals within that paper path. And if it's not hitting those sensors at a certain time, then we know it's not functioning the way that it should be, and we can stop the scanner before a paper jam could take place, and basically the potential of doing any damage to your original. To take that even a step farther, this is looking inside the scanner at the paper path. We have sensors built in here that are listening for the sound that paper makes as it's being crumpled. So if you inadvertently have one that goes in sideways, gets skewed, and is about to cause a paper jam, this will hear that happening and stop the scanner before we do any damage to the original. So again, key feature, not to do any damage to your original documents. And then the third thing that we consider to be absolutely critical, and maybe even the most of the three, is to not lose any data. And what we mean by that is if the scanner inadvertently multi-feeds, right, it inadvertently pulls in two sheets at once, and the scanner doesn't stop or identify that, you're going to lose that second sheet that was covered. You're going to lose that data, and it's gone at that point. So let's say you have a multi-feed. 2 weeks later, you pull up the file, you need the information on page 15, and the file jumps from 14 to 16 because 15 was fed with page 14. You've lost that data. In our opinion at Fujitsu, that scanner has failed you. In fact, the bigger picture is your whole ECM project has failed you because of that one little multi-feed. So we've completely eliminated multi-feeds with ultrasonic sensors. Ultrasonic sensors are in all of our scanners, and what they're doing is they're listening for the sound that air makes when it's trapped between two sheets of paper. That sound is very distinct. The scanner hears it and stops the scanning immediately, so you lose no data. Now, that's all well and good, but in real scanning environments, a lot of times customers are scanning things like sticky notes, address labels, EKG strips, or taped-on receipts, or what have you, that have the air pocket. So we have the ability to train our scanners with a feature that we call intelligent multi-feed detection. We can train our scanner to say, well, actually, this is not a multi-feed, it's a sticky note. This is not a multi-feed, it's a taped-on receipt. So if you see this, actually, if you hear this, again, it's a sticky note, it's a receipt, capture it, and just keep scanning. So really intelligent scanning. On the back side, we're making sure we're not losing any data that's valuable to you, but giving you great flexibility in how you scan your documents. So those are the three things, again, image quality, not damaging the paper, and not losing any data. Now let's focus a little bit on image processing and cleanup. We talked, you saw the one slide there, we said it was the Twain driver on steroids. We're calling it paper stream image processing. Now, for as long as I can remember, about 14 years now with Fujitsu, we've had a third-party image cleanup package in the box. So you've always been able to get good image quality with our scanners, but we've really taken it up a notch now as of November of last year with our own product that, again, we're calling PaperStream. Now, in the past, it was a software application that we had, and different versions of the software had different features, and sometimes it was hard to match up the features that a customer needed with the version of the software we gave free in the box. Now, we've eliminated all of that because it's not software. This is a driver-level image cleanup. So as you install the Twaineritis drivers that are free in the box with our scanners, you're getting the complete image cleanup right out of the box. So The other neat thing we've done, before we launched this, we went ahead and audited our users, many of them, and asked them, which of these features are you using with image cleanup? And we built 3 profiles based off the feedback we got. One of them straight black and white, the other is auto color detection, and then straight color. And with each of those, they're loaded up with most of the features that most of our customers will need. So in our estimation, 90% of the image cleanup needs for our customers will be satisfied using one of the 3 profiles that are already configured in the box for you. Things like blank page deletion, auto rotation, hole fill, all of that stuff's going to happen automatically. You really just need to choose your style of scanning, color, black and white, or auto color. Now this is an image where, again, we have the original color image. Now we're scanning it in black and white using our black and white out-of-the-box profile. And you can see that we've dropped out the color. We have a good, clean black and white image. We filled the holes that were on the left. You can see by looking at the pink image, there's the black fine edge border there. That's been cleaned up. So again, out of the box, cropping, deskewing, edge cleanup, hole fill, blank page deletion. And a lot of these features are not just designed to get good image quality. They're also designed to help you save in your prep time. One of the big costs of scanning is the time prepping batches. So our whole focus is what features can we put in the software that's going to save you time. So for example, in the past, you really had to break out your simplex and duplex batches to scan, two-sided or one-sided. Now we say, hey, if they're coming mixed already, just scan them, mixed that way, select duplex scanning, and then use the blank page deletion. And if there's nothing on that back page, it just throws it out of the file automatically. So saving you a great deal of time in your batch prep. One of the other things we have within PaperStream is what we're calling assisted scan. Now, assisted scan, what you're looking at here is in the left-hand column, you have the original image that was scanned, and then probably just the straight black and white image cleanup is giving you the current image just below it. Now, in the right-hand box, you see that in the middle, in red, is the current image, okay? So we've scanned it. It's given us a good, clean image in the middle of current, but then it's also given us 8 thumbnail views varying from brightness to contrast, giving us options there. And you can see there's a step size down here where we could manipulate the distance between each of the 8 thumbnails, the variance there. But the point of this is that you can simply drag and drop whichever image you think looks best to you to the current view, and it will not only save it as the current view in the left column, but give you 8 new thumbnails based off of that new current selection. So one of the real benefits of this is that rather than going into the actual Twain or ISIS drivers to clean up an image, which is still intuitive and pretty easy to do, this is all visual, so you don't have to select a feature and maybe play with a sliding scale to try to make it to work. Here you're simply saying, I like this one, it looks best to me. And you can see you can do that both for foreground or background. So you might have a watermark that you want to eliminate completely, but you want to keep the front, the foreground text nice and bright and clear so we can separate those out. And then once you've decided on the image that you want, you can simply save it, and it'll overwrite the image that you're working with, either as a one-off, or you could create a whole profile based off of this. Then you would apply to, for example, if you were scanning these warranty cards, you could easily build a profile that was good image quality for you based right off of the assisted scanning option. Now, one of the other features that we have in the box with all of our scanners is called Scanner Central Admin. Relatively new. We've had it for a couple years. We designed this when we went with some network scanning devices we have that we'll talk about in more detail in a moment, but that was a bit of a departure for us from the traditional SCSI and USB connected to a PC scanners that we've had. So what this does is this is an IT level software application that allows you to manage your entire fleet of Fujitsu devices all from one central location. Not only pushing out updates, but getting alerts back as well. So here's kind of a snapshot of the way it might work. You have a network environment here, different buildings. You can group your scanners into select groups that match either by the actual model numbers or a scanning profile that you've matched up or what have you. So you have these different groups, and then let's say that there's a driver update or there's a image profile update that you want to push out to this group of devices. So you have your update, you go ahead and just automatically from one location push it out to all the devices. In the past, you had to go out and physically touch each one of these PCs and set it up that way. Not the case anymore. Again, example number 2, we have our high volume production scanners. We have a new scanning profile we want to push out, and boom, we set it up in an IT server, we push it right out to all the machines. And then, of course, from a reporting standpoint, we can look at all of these devices and say, you know, how often is a scanner being used? Someone might call in and say, I need a new scanner. You can quickly look at your scanners, and in this example, you could say, hey, there's one in HR that's rarely used. Let's move that one over here. We don't really need to buy a new one. This other one's underutilized. Or someone wants consumables for one of the desktop scanners. You can quickly look at all the desktop scanners and see if there's any other machines that might need consumables, so you place one order instead of one a month as needed, for example. We also have the ability to set up email notifications, and this can be critical because in most scanning environments, you can't have a machine down. That really does become mission critical to keep it up and running. So in this case, we have our IT gentleman. Now he's moved off-site, but we have it set up to notify him if there is an issue via email, to go ahead and send it out to him so that he's notified, hey, we have a machine that's down. Let's escalate this to tech support. Get somebody out here ASAP. So just, again, a really nice way to manage your entire fleet, free in the box, and just another way that Fujitsu's trying to deliver added value. Now, which scanner is best for you? How do we determine that? I always like to say there's really just 3 questions that we want to ask. Very easy, quickly gets us to where we need to go. The first is, what's the maximum size sheet that you want to put through that scanner? Most of our scanners, even the smaller desktop ones, will go up to legal 8.5 by 14. But if someone says, well, 11 by 17, then boom, we know what class of scanner we're talking about. The second thing is the daily duty cycle. That's how many scans per day do you want to put through that machine. Now, we have a daily duty cycle assigned to each of our scanners. It's really a ballpark number to give you an idea of how robust a particular machine is. Nothing happens if you exceed that in any way. But again, it gives us a good target number to make sure we're getting you the right unit. And then the last one would be the batch sizes. How many sheets do you want to stick in that hopper at one time? And that tells us, again, the size of the ADF, the automatic document feeder. Is that going to work with your batches? If you're regularly prepping 100-page batches, you don't want a 50-page ADF. So that's the third criteria that helps us determine which scanner is best. Now, this is a snapshot of our entire lineup. We try to keep it, you know, it's not a bunch of scanners. It really isn't. But again, you can see everything from the tiny personal line all the way up to the high-volume production scanners, really something for everyone. Now, these words on the left, personal, decentralized, professional, those kind of change from time to time, and we do, you know, take the advice of the analysts, whatever they're calling them. So the personal line of scanners was also called the SOHO, the small office, home office, personal line of scanners. And we have a couple different ones here for you. We call these our scan snap scanners. Generally, they're in about the 200 pages per day. We also have a really exciting new scanner over here. It's a book scanner, and that's been extremely popular in libraries and other specific archiving institutions that can't put things through feeders. Decentralized or desktop scanners, again, smaller units, desktop physical footprint, and daily duty cycle, again, 1,000 to about 2,000 or so. The fourth scanner here is our 7160 scanner. We're going to have a slide on that in just a minute. That's a relatively new scanner for us that is the 5th generation of the best-selling scanner in the United States. Departmental scanners or professional, again, higher volume now. We're talking about 2,000 to 4,000. The speeds are going to go up with these as well. The fourth one that you see here, this is a desktop unit that will do 11 by 17, where the other desktop units up until that point are 8.5 by 14 as a maximum. Now you'll notice here also that on this unit, we have the ADF, we also have an attached flatbed. Our flatbeds also all have an ADF, so it gives you the flexibility. Yes, you might need the flatbed occasionally, but maybe most of it is, through the feeder, so it gives you great flexibility there. And then the two scanners on the end, these are network scanners. So they're different than all of our others. They have an embedded PC in them, and it's just a straight RJ45 connection to the network. A little bit different. It's more of a general office machine. It allows you to integrate with line of business applications right on the login screen. So very nice, but used for slightly different use cases. And then our high volume production scanning, anything from 15,000 all the way up to 100,000 scans per day, 140 pages a minute. Again, you can see our big flatbed here, again, has the ADF on the top. It's essentially this same ADF here that's now sitting on top of this big flatbed. So quick snapshot on the 7000 series. Again, the latest and greatest we have in the desktop scanning market. Again, the scanner looks a lot bigger than it is in the picture. It's about the size of a loaf of bread. And again, it's the 5th generation of the best-selling scanner in the U.S. Hard card scanning, embossed card scanning, 40 to 60 pages a minute, really quite fast and extremely robust at 4,000 pages per day for a desktop scanner. We've also added the panel. There's never been a front-side panel on a small desktop scanner like this before. So it's a really nice way for you to look at things, page counts, selecting profiles. You can put it in an admin mode if you needed to. And then also you can get into the SOP. The SOP is the software operation panel, which generally was just attainable through the actual PC itself. And that's where you'd go in and you'd turn on your ultrasonic sensors, you'd set up your intelligent multi-feed detection, and a whole slew of other features, including things like a thin paper mode. If you were scanning really thin onion skin paper, you might put the scanner in a thin paper scanning mode. And as I mentioned, the hopper's a little bit bigger, so we've gone from the predecessor was a 50-page ADF. Now it'll hold 80 sheets. We've tested all the driver's licenses in the U.S. There's varying thicknesses and sizes there. They all fit. So if you were to go into a pharmacy, we really dominate the pharmacy space. And if you go in for the first time, you're going to give your driver's license and your insurance card, and they're going to zap those through one of our scanners right in front of you. And it's very nice to do that right at the point of reception, as opposed to handing it over and having someone go back and photocopy it. It's out of your sight. And in this day and age with, compliance and our trying to keep a privacy of our important information, it's good to not have those cards leave your site. So we're very aware of that. So let's chat just for a bit about the MFD for the scanner and how that works. Now, at Fujitsu, we just make dedicated scanners, and we really feel like these are complementary. We're not here to tell you, boy, you should really get away from the MFDs or MFPs. We really do think they're complementary, but there is kind of a line in the sand when you should be considering one or the other. Certainly with the MFDs, it's good that you're scanning with those. Yes, you're reducing paper. You're enhancing your productivity in the sense that you're creating electronic images. If there's any kind of a back-end workflow with it, you're streamlining your business process and that kind of thing. But here's a slide that we're going to kind of differentiate a little bit. So the MFDs are really the ad hoc, the onesies and twosies scanning, where the dedicated scanner is really for your dedicated higher volume mission critical scanning. The rule of thumb is if you're scanning more than 100 documents per day, you really want to be thinking about a dedicated scanner. Any more than that, you're really tying up the network, scanning through the MFD, when just having a dedicated scanner tied to the network through a PC is a much more efficient way to get documents to your repository. A couple other things. If you're scanning mixed batches, so mixed size documents within a single batch, the paper handling is going to be significantly better on a dedicated scanner. Also, if you need to view the image, obviously with dedicated scanners, we have all that great image cleanup. We're going to allow you to look at any of the images and make sure they're of the quality that's acceptable before you commit the batch, where on an MFD, generally you can't view the image at all, or if you can, it's a really small window just to show you that, in fact, something was captured as opposed to exposing you to image quality. Those are a couple things to keep in mind when you're considering one or the other. Now, at this point, we're going to talk just a little bit about some service options that we have for you. Our premium service offering that we have is called ScanCare. ScanCare gives you all of the break-fix on-site service that you might need, but it also includes preventive maintenance visits and consumable kits. Now, the PM visits are designed for scanners with a little higher volume. You want to make sure that you get the best from your investment, and you have a field engineer that comes out at a set interval, changes the consumables, takes a look at anything, will notice if there's anything that needs to be addressed before it becomes an issue, and without a doubt that extends the life of your scanner. It also includes the consumable kits and the cleaning kits, and that's the full supplies to clean and to replace your consumables. I'll have a slide on that in just a moment. The other thing you'll notice here is you'll see Fujitsu and then our competitors listed as well. Fujitsu now has a program called multi-vendor service where we will service any other product that's out there. Our guys are fully certified on all of our competitors. We have all the spare parts. So now you can use that trusted field technician from Fujitsu to service any other third-party brands that you may have. Now, if ScanCare is not in your budget or you really don't think you need the PM visits, we have basic service. Basic service is your break-fix service, parts, labor, travel. You have an issue with the scanner, you call our tech support. If we can't service or we can't solve it over the phone, we just dispatch one of our field engineers to come out and fix it, and you're totally covered. So you don't have the PM visits there. You also don't have the ScanAid kits, which we're going to talk about here. And I'd really highly recommend that you get these right at the beginning. Even if you're going to get basic service, get your ScanAid kit, because the kit has all the cleaning supplies. It has the rubbing alcohol to clean the rollers. It has the cleaning sheets to run through it. And keeping the consumables clean is actually really critical to the picking mechanism, to be sure that we're not creating multi-feeds. They can gum up a little bit, and it's harder to pick the sheets. Also, it can throw off the timing of the sensors. If one roller's gummed up and the other one's not, it can skew. So definitely, you're going to need the ScanAid kit at some point. The rollers should be replaced within a year or at the maximum number of scans for that scanner. So you're going to need it at some point. It's good just to get it up front with all the proper cleaning supplies as well.
Thanks, Wayne. I'll take it from here. Many of you may already have document scanners and might be looking to upgrade due to compatibility issues, or maybe you just want to upgrade for all the latest bells and whistles. Either way, we're here to help you through that process, and we want to help you get the most out of your scanner investment. So I'm going to start off by talking about how we're going to get you the most out of your trade-in on your current scanner. So let's talk about the benefits of upgrading. You, of course, are going to get the latest technology. You're going to get the most current software, in this case, the PaperStream IP. You get all of the new and improved features that were discussed, along with improved paper handling. It's easier to manage. As Wayne discussed earlier, he showed the process of having a centralized admin. You might remember that slide with all the little dots going to all the other locations within the organization. You can be confident that you're going to be compatible with Windows 7 and Windows 8. We know that there have been a lot of issues out there regarding that problem with older scanners. And you also get increased productivity, and your images are going to be much clearer, and that's obviously going to make your information a lot more accurate. So let's talk about the classic trade-in process. You're going to start off by selecting your scanner, whichever channel you go about doing that. You're going to then determine what your trade-in value is. You're going to then buy the scanner, and then you have to track down and complete the trade-in paperwork, and you're going to make sure that it gets submitted to the manufacturer. The manufacturer is then going to arrange for a courier to pick it up and retrieve the trade-in scanner, and then you're going to play the waiting game for about 30 to 60 days for your refund check. And now I'm assuming many of you might be in the same boat when I say that you're keeping your fingers crossed that when the check arrives to your accounting department, you're hoping it's processed correctly and gets credited back to your department. Now let's take a look at how that process happens when you call ImageSource. When you connect with one of our experts, they will assist you to find a scanner that best fits your needs and your budget. Then you're going to select the scanner. We're going to help you determine its value, and then we're going to also maximize that value by including some maintenance packages. We will then complete the trade-in paperwork for you, and this provides you the credit at the time of purchase rather than 30 to 60 days later. Essentially, we turn the trade-in into an instant rebate. And this also ensures that your department receives the savings, and it's not just deposited into a general fund somewhere. Then we contact the courier for you and make arrangements to pick up your scanners. We're also monitoring the process to make sure the transaction happens smoothly and in the least amount of time possible. And you're done. You're up and operating with a new scanner. So you can see here the benefit of working with our experts delivers savings at the time of purchase rather than having to wait. And then it also saves you time because we're executing all of those steps of the process for you. You might be curious as to what kind of range we're talking about in regards to the trade-in discounts. As you can see here, there are a variety of different prices. The rebates are pretty significant, as you can see, and it's also giving you some help towards that new purchase. And again, we can discuss how adding a maintenance package to your purchase can help you maximize your trade-in value even more. So I know you're going to get a great image coming from a Fujitsu scanner, but let's take the next few minutes to kind of go beyond that and talk about how that image can really become valuable within your organization by utilizing some ECM software for capture and for processing and sharing and storing the documents. So this table is going to give you a few comparisons between out-of-the-box capture and dedicated capture software. So to clarify, out-of-the-box capture comes on your scanner that you purchase, and dedicated capture software is much more robust and provides some more functionality. With the out-of-the-box capture, you can't typically assign metadata to your images. What ends up happening is that you normally scan your paper, and then you probably assign it a file name to the image, and then you might save it to a folder somewhere on your computer or your network. With a dedicated capture software, you can key in index values to assign the metadata to the image, and you can also perform validation and database lookups, which is going to give you a lot more information about your document and make it much more searchable in the end. You can also assign workflow processes, which could extend that electronic process across your organization for review and approvals. And like Wayne talked about earlier with the PaperStream IP, you get image cleanup, rotation of your documents, and blank page deletion. But with the addition of dedicated capture software, you can redact, you can add annotations, and you can also zoom in and, you know, some of the other features that you see here. And then with the out-of-the-box software, you're only scanning in your paper. With the dedicated capture software, you can scan all kinds of file types. So you can do electronic documents, photos, videos, audios, your emails, and the list could go on and on from there. So next, let's talk about how this dedicated capture software, like iLinks Capture, can make it super simple for you to get your documents into the system and prep for workflow and search. As we were talking about earlier, you can capture scanned images from a device such as your Fujitsu scanners, and you're going to get a clean, straight, readable image. You can drag and drop files from your desktop. You can ingest from your Outlook, your emails, and with a simple right-click. And you can even capture information using mobile devices like your phones and your tablets. Like if you take a photo from your phone or using your tablet, or record any video or any audio from those devices. And really, web-based platform like iLinks Capture allows you to initiate the capture process at the earliest point of the transaction. So it's saving you time and getting you the information into your business system much sooner. So let's review indexing and validation. This will show you what happens once your image is actually inside the dedicated software program. So capture software is really about finding your document later when you need it, and this is really when the indexing and validation come into play. During the process, you would key in key index values that would relate to the content of the document you've captured, such as a name, a PO number, maybe a social security number, a date, and what else is on there, maybe an invoice number. This will be the metadata that will help you locate the document later when you search for it. To increase accuracy and speed, we can integrate with other software systems, such as setting up a database lookup. This will enable the capture software to reference pre-existing information on one or more existing databases. In this screenshot, we're outlining an example of the process. Here is a document that contains a barcode that initiates the call to the database, which then pre-fills the index fields with the information. This helps to ensure the accuracy because the information has already been existing in the system and it's been verified. It could also be configured to respond to a user keying in information into any of these fields. So it's similar to what you would do when you're performing a common web search. So dedicated software like iLinks Capture can also offer some advanced capture options. Advanced Capture automatically extracts the data from the document using a variety of methods and pre-fills the index fields, so users don't have to key in any of the information. So Advanced Capture can use the barcodes to pre-fill the information, or it can also utilize the optical character recognition, which is OCR, and it's computer-generated text. It's information you would probably find like on an invoice that you receive, or it can even recognize handwriting words, which is called intelligent character recognition. And an example of this would be like filling out a check or maybe a form that you would fill out at a doctor's office. So just like we talked about, a dedicated capture software can bring a lot of functionality that can pick up where out-of-the-box software leaves off. And to make your contact really usable, you may consider using a dedicated ECM platform. And this slide is going to point out some of the benefits that you're missing with a simple file share. So workflow automation allows content to flow through your organization based on preset rules or some events This basically allows you to go paperless with your business process. And it also allows you to track the location of the document between the capture phase and the storage phase. And next, let's go over the security, because although with file share it's possible to restrict or provide access to whole segments of your file share, an ECM system can get a lot more granular. And it can allow access or restrict the rights to a user or a group of users to a particular document or even information on the document. For example, some portions of the document may be hidden to certain users depending on some security rights. And like we discussed during the indexing and validation, the metadata or taxonomy allows you to quickly retrieve your document when you search for it. And then revision control is going to help you keep a historical record of all versions of the document. It's a mechanism that's used for checking documents in and out of the system. To show you how search can be effective in an ECM repository like iLink's content store, this screenshot here is showing you how advanced searching capabilities allows you to find the document you're looking for within seconds. So you can use any combination of system or user-defined metadata here in these fields. And you can also use the and or conjunctions here to help you further refine and narrow your search. Another search method for quick searching is the global full text search. And you could just type in here just as you were, again, like you were typing on a web browser to help you find any relevant documents that you might be looking for. So we've also got a little statistic on here for you from Gartner that they've done some research that it takes 18 minutes to locate each document on the average, and that's without ECM. So if that statistic wasn't compelling enough for you, here are some other eye-openers. We've barely nicked the surface of what having an ECM system can help you overcome in regards to significant productivity challenges around the management of your documents. Some of you may already be using Capture or a document repository, but if not, we of course invite you to give us a call to find out more information, not only about your scanner, but ways you can maximize the value of your documents you're capturing or taking your current capture process to the next level. So what's the value of working with ImageSource? We've been in business for over 20 years. We have dedicated account rep executives that are going to help you on several fronts. Our experts are there to be your advocates with manufacturers with whom we've had long-standing and successful relationships with, including Fujitsu. We really represent the best of breed in ECM technologies. And we're going to be here to help advise you, to help you find the best technology fit for both hardware and software. And finally, when we were talking about early, because of our status with many of our partners, it allows us to provide special offers, discounted pricing, and bundles that you probably are not going to find anywhere else. So thank you for listening to our webinar today on proactive scanner management. If you have any questions, please give us a call.